We're proud to be with House Appropriations Chairman Terry England, longtime friend of ours, a GAC member. Terry, thank you for everything you do.
Good to be here.
We had a great budget this year, thanks in large part to this gentleman as well as Senator Jack Hill, and of course the governor's been very supportive as well. And so we just want to get a summary of kind of where we are. And Terry, if you could just talk to us a little bit about what we saw in the budget this year, and maybe we'll start with projects at UGA.
Sure. Well, UGA, there's through the years has kind of been a pent-up demand in the things that we've needed to do to go in and update facilities for the College of Ag and Environmental Sciences. And so over the last several years, we've tried to put in money for major repairs and renovations and for obsolete equipment replacement, of course, through the College of Ag, through the experiment station. So this year, again, kind of holding to a 5-year plan that we implemented. This is now the 4th year, putting $4 million for major MR&R, major repairs and renovations, and $1 million for obsolete equipment replacement. Working with the dean and his staff to make those things, identify those items, and know what we need to do. Some other things that we looked at talking with the dean and the college were, we know that we have some positions, vital, critical positions in research throughout the university systems, especially through the College of Ag. And through the years of recession and budget cuts and them having to reduce within, we've come back and added a big cattle specialist in Tifton. We've added 2 poultry positions back in Athens, another thing or 2 there as well. So, pretty substantial investment on the state's part. I think it totals somewhere about $845,000 for those positions. And then last summer, in talking with our friends in the turfgrass industry and realizing the condition of the facilities at Griffin, which are the facilities that have developed so many of the turf grasses that Georgia and the University of Georgia itself is known for, and have become the standards in the industry for golf courses, for people's yards, and for commercial properties and that sort of thing. Realizing those facilities had well outlived their usefulness, not only there in Griffin, but in Tifton and in Athens as well. So in the House, we brought $3 million for bonding for taking care of the Athens needs, the Tifton needs, and beginning some design and planning work at Griffin. In conversations with our governor, the governor sees it as something that's very important, understanding the major impact that the trademark issues or I guess patent issues where people have to actually pay for using those varieties in the field, and what a major impact that has into the University of Georgia Research Foundation. It and peanuts, I think, are kind of tied right now at the top as being the 2 major contributors there in revenues. And so the governor then came back to the table kind of at the end and said, look, I would like to shift one of my priorities over and help complete in 1 year all the turf grass needs for $11 million there in bonded.
Very good.
Bonded indebtedness. So a lot of things, a lot of moving pieces for UGA, particularly for the College of Ag.
What about the Department of Ag? We know there was a lot of changes that they were looking at this year, and Georgia Grown in particular. How'd they come out?
Well, Georgia Department of Ag, I think they're going to be really happy. Matter of fact, saw the commissioner just a little bit ago, and he was pretty much in tears with appreciation for what the General Assembly had brought to the table there as well. He, like several other agencies, have issues on starting salaries and being able to get good folks and pay good folks what they need to be paid for a living wage. And so part of what we've done there is enhanced the package there, dealing with food safety and consumer protection. Added money to take and fill some vacant positions. I think there are about eight vacant positions in consumer protection. We know that food safety is an issue. It comes and goes from the news headlines, but we know that the impression of the general public that doesn't understand ag like you and I do, know that one little instance can cause a complete and total collapse of any particular segment of our industry. Should there be, some type of outbreak in milk, everybody, that milk industry suffers. If it's peanuts like it was a few years ago, that industry suffers. So we've got to put in place the safeguards there to ensure or help people feel insured that the foods that they're consuming, which they are, they're the safest foods in the world that we produce here in the United States. But they just have to have that confidence. And so what we've done there is help the commissioner be able to recruit, retain good quality folks, and move forward from there. Georgia Grown is I think nationwide folks are looking at Georgia Grown, just scratching their heads, wondering how in the world have they been so successful with what they've done. And to this point, there have been no state funds involved. It's all been done, with people joining up. And so we got to looking at it. The state has a vested interest in Georgia Grown, and while we put $100,000 into the Georgia Grown program this year, I know that's not, in the grand scheme of things, a lot of money, but I know the commissioner and I know marketing director Jack Spruill are going to do everything they can to make sure that every one of those $100,000 are spent in a very efficient, effective manner. And then another program that we kicked off this year deals with Georgia Grown food safety, and so that's another piece that's been put in the budget as well.
Well, Agribusiness Council, as well as many GAC members, are part of the Georgia Grown program. So we try to push that logo, and others do too.
Right.
And yeah, it's done a terrific job of drawing the eye of the entire country,
Yes.
and even parts of the world, to our state agriculture. So we're very, very proud of that.
We love seeing things shipped everywhere with the Georgia Grown logo.
Last but not least, what about on the ag education front? I know it's certainly a passion of yours, as is ours, and I know there was a lot of effort made on your part to try to bolster those programs.
Well, through the budget cuts that we've gone through the last 5 or 6 years, we've tried to isolate education in general as much as we could, but as the recession continued to deepen, it made it necessary that we had to go in and look at individual programs, and ag ed was no exception to that rule. And so we were able to, in the amended budget and in the big budget, come back and put some money back in for extended day and extended year for those teachers that are out there working with the kids after the school day and all weekend to adequately reimburse them or pay them for their time. I mean, a man or woman are worthy of their hire, and we should be paying them, for their time, because those men and women that are ag educators in the state, they don't do it for the money. They do it for helping kids.
In addition to these benefits, we saw some increases for the Georgia Forestry Commission, in addition to the Regional Water Council planning that the governor provided funds to see that process continue, and the Georgia Soil and Water Conservation Commission will continue their great service they've been providing to us. Terry, anything else you want to add?
Bryan, really, this year's been a pretty good year for ag. Really been a pretty good year for most agencies in the state. I mean, we were able to bring some money to the table that the governor had initially put in the budget for pay raises for state employees in general, based on merit. And one of the largest investments, single year investments in K-12 education in the history of the state of Georgia, about $988 million, almost $1 billion of new money going back into K-12 education. So it's, in general, been a very good year for the state of Georgia. Thank the Lord for a recovery, even though it's slow and a little bit sluggish. It's starting to turn, and we're not quite back where we were in 2008, 2009, but starting to rebuild. We've got about 500,000 more people in the state of Georgia than we had at that point in time, and still wind up as one of the lowest state in the country for tax burden for individuals. So a lot of good things in Georgia, and I just want to tell you, thank you, and Michael, thank you for y'all's work on behalf of Georgia agriculture and what y'all do and the voice that y'all are up here, and just being a steadfast rock for Georgia agriculture. And you, the members of the Georgia Agribusiness Council, thank you for what you do, what you mean to our state, what you mean to our communities. We appreciate the work that you do on a daily basis to help FFA and 4-H'ers and ball teams and everything else that are out there and part of your community. Thank you so much.